Hey everybody, it's Edwardo here with your DraftStream final score update and talent pool preview. And hats off again. The Canadian occupation continues. We may dominate the exchange rate, but Jaybird dominates the DraftStream alpha test game. 1,202.93 points. A mere 40-something points off of a perfect call sheet, which, as you see this week, had a combination of 4 titles: Batal, Diana Kennedy, Lucky Grandma, and the trip to Greece. A 7-2-1 headliner, co-star, day player construction. Let's take a look at the winning call sheet. The Bird from the North, Ontario's Jaybird, and he had a headliner stack Control Z, 1 headliner from Diana Kennedy, a 4-pack of Lucky Grandma, which is pretty much what did it for him, as Lucky Grandma was the highest scoring title on the slate, headliner from Penance, and a headliner stack of the trip to Greece. And this score, even though he pulled away at the end, it was a little closer than we thought at one point. At one point, once aka Jane Rowe came in, and we got an update on, on Lucky Grandma. Hope was alive, but with the Metacritic score unchanged and the IMDb user score unchanged, that's all she wrote. We'll get to my call sheet in a second, but I want to give it up for the Hebrew Hammer. 3rd place. His first DraftStream cash, who has the 2nd highest scoring non-Cinema Draft affiliated call sheet. Let's take a look at HH. Also, due to be our guest on tomorrow's taping and Wednesday's airing of the Cinema Draft podcast. He will be our special guest. Hebrew Hammer. An asymmetrical call sheet, went 6-4. Lucky Grandma, Control Z, went hard on 2 titles, and you know what? Not a bad strategy this week. Obviously, it paid off. Lucky Grandma was the high scoring call sheet, or high scoring program on the slate. Control Z did fine value, considering it was a foreign drama on Netflix. It really only got 1 rating. Where'd it go? Controls. Here it is. It only got 1 rating from IMDb user, and that alone powered Control Z to a win, and is a good reminder of the strength of the audience scores. These RT audience and IMDb user scores, this is where the action's at. They carry a 60% weighted bonus. As you construct your call sheets, you have to keep in mind what the audience is going to like. As it turns out, Control Z was the 2nd highest scoring IMDb user score of the weekend, second only to our leader, Lucky Grandma. So let that be instructional for you. Coming up close, just 9 points off the pace for a cash, was Audrey G Studios, Michael J. Cassisi Jr., MJCJ. Let's take a look at his call sheet again real quick. He was heavy on Greece, and what hurt this, and honestly everyone's, or most people's call sheets, was the lack of an additional score for the trip to Greece. Military Wives brought him back into contention, but cooled off a little in the final scoring. Lucky Grandma, having exposure to that was great. Asian cinema is hot right now. And this title would have been Money in the Bank, MJCJ, except we needed more bank. And actually, look at this. I'm a little salty too. The trip to Greece did not receive a Rotten Tomatoes audience score. This really burns my britches. If this had gotten a mere 77 on the audience score, look at what happens here. I would have ended Jaybird's reign, damn it. I would have put him under by less than a point. Didn't happen. All we need was a 77 Rotten Tomatoes. You're killing me. No. Let's undo that. There we go. But yes, it was not meant to be. And actually, let's take a look at, well, the Draft Mom update. Congratulations to Draft Mom. She wasn't dead freaking last this time. And actually, and congratulations to yourselves, and DraftStream players. Damn it, everyone crossed the 1,000-point threshold. Less than 200 points separated first from last. Good value for the most part throughout. I mean, it could have been worse. It could have been worse. Red Ibis locks up our very first low ball bonus score winning. So congrats to Red Ibis, damn it. Even though she tried, or Girl Deidre, she tried to win and came up short. Still, she satisfies the requirements for a low ball. And for those of you who are not familiar, we introduced this at the last second over the weekend, but I think we're going to make this a staple moving forward. The low ball, and this is your low ball call sheet, basically requires a minimum of $50,000 in budget spent and 3 titles selected in order to qualify, and your goal is to score the lowest scoring call sheet, so long as you have minimum $50,000 in budget and 3 different titles selected, and also satisfy staying under 100,000 budget and at least 1 headliner, 1 co-star, and 1 day player. This would have been your perfect low ball call sheet. A low max of Inheritance, 1 day player Joan of Arc, and 1 day player of Penance. For those of you who do want to cash and get the $10 low ball bonus, and congrats once again to Red Ibis for securing the low ball. Make sure you have as much exposure to what you think the lowest scoring title will be, and then day player out the rest of your call sheet. It's one way to look at it. But this is your optimal low ball call sheet, and our actual low ball winning call sheet. Red Ibis, she had, and it wasn't like she was trying to tank. Like, she tried hard. I mean, we don't necessarily give participation medals here. I actually am looking forward to seeing if anyone is fed up with Jaybird's nonsense and is going to actually go for the low ball instead of the top 2. That might throw an interesting wrinkle into strategy this week. But she had, aka Jane Rowe, which is a solid performing title. This headliner stack of Inheritance definitely sank her grander ambitions, as did Jane of Arc. Both of these scored less than a default score of 69.50. And, you know, she had Lucky Grandma, Military Wives, and a 4-pack of Penance, which some exposure to Penance was recommended for on the perfect call sheet, but not too much exposure. Once again, the perfect call sheet. Oh, actually, the perfect call sheet. Let's take a look at this. Throughout the weekend, it definitely fluctuated. Penance was on there, but looks like it did not make the cut. It was a headliner stack of Batal, a headliner stack of the Trip to Greece, a 5-pack? 1, 2, 3, 4. A 5-pack. A 5-stack of Lucky Grandma. And 1 headliner from Diana Kennedy. Nothing fancy. So, week to week, we're seeing optimal strategies change. In this case, it was a 7-2-1 construction. Headliner, co-star, day player. And 1, 2, 3, and 4 titles of exposure. And also, just let's do a throwback, or a callback to Hebrew Hammer's construction. Unusual, but I like it. Even though he only had 2 titles, he went with a 4-5-1 headliner, co-star, day player construction. Unusual, but it has appeared in perfect call sheets before. And remember your tiebreakers, damn it. They're definitely going to come into play once this is coded up and on site next month. Alright, and I think anyone, you know what, let's take a look at George Mikan real quick, our benefactor from last week, also known as Jay Devlin. the most frequent guest on the Cinema Draft podcast. And he got in the mushy middle, but looks like he was less than 30 points out from third or receiving a cash score. So let's see where you went right and where you went wrong. J-Dev, headliner stack of Jane Roe, solid. Joan of Arc, the albatross around your neck. You probably just ran out of room for what you wanted, had to go with value, didn't quite work out. Lucky Grandma, very astute headliner stack there. Trip to Greece headliner stack, I like it. And Villain, inspired, and actually decent value. But Joan of Arc really held you back from grander ambitions. Love seeing your call sheets, though, my dude. Looking forward to seeing what you come up with this week, whether you go high or you get low. All right, so let's take a look at the new talent pool. I'm very excited this week. Very interesting mix of strategies should come into play. Not only do you have the low ball shooters, the gutter ball shooters, but you also have some interesting strategies at play. We have the return of Apple TV Plus, which so far has meant largely quality on our game. We have the introduction of Shudder, which I think is like a horror streaming service. Netflix's high-profile Space Force is coming to play. Sea Change on Acorn TV. I think the fourth season of the long-running the Australian TV dramatic series coming back after a long hiatus to be broadcast on, or to be streamed on Acorn TV on Monday. So this also will be a test of basically, do we have the stones? Do we have the guts to ride out on Monday? And also royalties. We're trying Quibi again, y'all. Quibi left a bad taste in our mouths last time, but royalty seems to be high enough profile that hopefully it will get some ratings. And then a Sunday night debut for Quiz, which has already debuted on the BBC, I believe, over in the UK. So hopefully we'll get that covered across the board. And Epics. I believe this is Epics' debut in the DraftStream game. Another Sunday debut, but it's streaming, so it might be available as early as late Saturday night. And Up TV. Had to look that up. This is definitely a new platform, one I hadn't heard of. So we'll give it a shot, see if it rates. And the high note, the Tracee Ellis Ross star with Dakota Johnson. I almost called it Dakota Fanning. I've been watching too much of The Great with Elle Fanning, the sister. The Dakota Johnson, Tracee Ellis Ross star, which comes to video on demand on Friday. Is that right? Yes, Friday. Let's take a look at some of these salaries. Here it is. Now, this is easily our highest salaried title in DraftStream history. Starting at $27,600 for Steve Carell, $27,000 for John Malkovich. Why so high, you may ask? Well, this obviously is going to be covered everywhere. Everyone's highly anticipating it. The trailers look funny. The team behind it is incredible. I mean, co-created by Steve Carell and Greg Daniels. Okay. Greg Daniels most recently did Upload, which I believe led its week in scoring as well. It's a slam dunk. It's a no-brainer. Are you going to want some exposure to it? I think so. Is there an avenue where you can build outside of it and fade it? Possibly. But I have a hard time seeing how this title is going to fail. This is probably as big of a sure thing as we've had in our game so far. So, I don't know. I'm thinking I'm going to have some exposure to it. So, Space Force, Sea Change, not to do your homework for you, but Sea Change, and now you see why it's scored so high. An initial IMDb score of 8.0. I'm very leery of starting mid-season or mid-run of a show for audiences, but there is still an air of mystery. It doesn't have any Rotten Tomatoes audience scores, I think, so there is room for its scores to improve. But now you see why Sea Change is priced up at $18,000. The High Note, it's a wild card. Personally, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I most likely will be watching it this weekend. I love Tracee Ellis Ross, and I like Dakota Johnson. She's cute. She's nice. And Kelvin Harrison Jr. has had an interesting career thus far. I really like everything he's been in. He was in Waves, the heralded indie that didn't receive enough Golden Globes or Oscar love. He's excellent in that. So it's got a lot of elements that I'm interested in. I'm definitely going to check out The High Note this weekend. So $12,000 for Tracee Ellis Ross, $11,600 for Dakota Johnson. Seems like a good starting point. Love Tracee Ellis Ross, and if you want a inspirational fitness Instagram to follow, good lord. Old girl is 46, 47, so she's older than I am, and she has got it tight and right. And her workouts are very entertaining. The Vast of Night, coming on Prime. Didn't know much about it starting out, but as you can see, this sci-fi mystery thriller, maybe fantasy, looks like it might have already made the rounds on the festival circuit. 326 reviews so far on the audience score, so that's why it's starting at 11,000. Might actually be undervalued now I think about it, but we're recording this too late now, can't change it. Taking advantage of my blunder. Quiz, as I mentioned, is already aired on the BBC, and I've been seeing a lot of promotion for it during my Killing Eve slots. Love Killing Eve. Shout out Jodie Comer. I love you. Oh, I love me some Jodie Comer. Anne Villanelle is, quite frankly, one of the most hilarious presences we've had on TV in the last few years. Don't know much about Picha, but this seems to also have gotten some indie run. Virtual theaters. Virtual theaters have performed well in our game, so it's priced up. Or priced kind of mid-range, I guess. And Love Life. Don't know what to expect much out of Love Life, but Anna Kendrick. I love Anna Kendrick. The movie on Disney Plus, Noelle. Oh my god. I love me Noelle. Noelle is great. It gave me the biggest smile I've had at home all year. I mean, it's so jolly, and she's great in it. It's so much fun. And Anna Kendrick, and she's just a delight. Look, I mean, a pixie of a human being. She's tiny. I've probably benched 3 times her weight before, but my goodness, she is a delight. She's delightful in Noelle. Definitely check out Noelle if you have Disney Plus. If you haven't, anyways, not to get sidetracked, but this one's a wild card, and it is powered by the strength of people's love or adoration of Anna Kendrick. So that's why I went with 7,700. I think our lone documentary of the slate. Yes, our lone documentary, Laurel Canyon. Because it's on Epix, I priced it down. Not a lot of people have Epix. Epix actually has some great shows. The Get Shorty reboot or remake or whatever, that's pretty good. But I don't know, because no one really has Epix, not sure if it'll fully get covered, so we're starting it at 8,000 here. And it's a music documentary, so you'd think you get some eyeballs. And those are and Central Park. We'll finish off with Central Park. This is Apple TV Plus, coming through with a star-studded cast of voice roles. Kristen Bell, Josh Gad. Kristen Bell's been hitting the Zoom promotional circuit. Apple TV Plus has been synonymous with quality. So 9,500 felt about right. It might even be undervalued. I'm personally not big into much animation. I think I kind of topped out at like South Park and well, really South Park, honestly. But it seems like it has all the ingredients for success. Really interesting voice cast. Catherine Hahn, Titus Burgess from, what was it, from Kimmy Schmidt. Oh, I gotta finish Kimmy Schmidt. I think I stopped somewhere in the second or third season. Anyways, yes, so this actually might be a source of value right here, but I honestly think it's going to be a very, very tough weekend for us, everyone. I'm extremely excited about this call sheet, or sorry, about this talent pool. You can go in a lot of different directions. We've got a lot of scattered information at our disposal to start off. So, yes, take a look. Figure it out. Make the puzzle pieces fit. I'm excited to see what you all come up with. I'm excited to see if you go high or if you go low. And for those of you who are interested in the low ball, check the rules right here. There's also a YouTube video you can click on to get a quick, just under 3-minute overview of how the game is played. And if you go low, there is DraftStream Golden Themdar Hills, $10 weights. So go low or go high. Go high. Once again, we have a $50 prize pool to going high. $35 to first, $15 a second to the top 2 non-Cinema Draft employee winners, and a $10 low ball bonus to those who are able to have a minimum 50K salary, 3 different titles, and also satisfy having at least 1 headliner, 1 co-star, and 1 day player on your $100,000 or less call sheet. Thanks everybody for watching and for playing. Looking forward to seeing those call sheets. Hope you enjoyed the soundtrack in the background, the musical score in the background. I think I might keep these. Looking forward to those call sheets, everybody. Congratulations again to the winners. To Jaybird and Hebrew Hammer. And a reminder, the Cinema Draft podcast will be up on Wednesday morning with our guest, Mike Strenger, aka the Hebrew Hammer. Looking forward to seeing you guys this week and what you have on tap. Make sure you also join the group chat. A lot of great ideas and feedback flying around there. Great strategy talk. Thanks for watching, everybody. And I'll see them call sheets on Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific time.